Welcome, sports fans, to the latest S&M production of the Sunday Night Sports Nerd Show. It is the most absurd 90 minutes of anything goes, smack talk, and a whole lot more. Every Sunday night, the sports nerd joins forces with three charismatic co-hosts who are a select group of sports nerds with attitude, better known in Nerd Nation as the Ram Pack. We are four of the most loudmouth, smack-talking nerds around, coming at you with some sick rips and rants, which may be just enough to make it be your pants. So listen up, Nerd Nation. Catch my eyes and welcome to Legend himself. He is the founder, he is the host, and he is the star of the Sports Nerd Show. Coming to you live, straight out of Macon, Florida, Scott, the Sports Nerd.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Nerds. I am your humble host, Scott, the Sports Nerd, right? And along with my co-host this evening, Mr. Elliot Big E. I can cut your hair better than your brother.
Big E the Barber.
Big E the Barber, and Mr. Ken Koslow. I am not wearing a hat because I want to make sure I am living proof to all of you out there that know Elliot Big E Lamba does know how to cut hair. He came up here today to my place and sat me down for about an hour and just cut my hair, and he did it right. He did it great. I'm impressed. I'm happy with it. And I look like a guy again, so I'm good.
See you again in about 6 to 8 weeks.
About 6 to 8 weeks, yes, sir.
It does look good.
Thank you, Elliot, for doing that and coming up and doing that for me. I really appreciate it.
No
It
worries.
does look good.
Happy birthday.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, he said happy birthday. That's right. Yeah, it was about 2 weeks ago, but okay, no problem. Anyway, guys, what a week of football. Elliot, you were saying before the show, proof positive that preseason don't mean shit.
Yeah.
Browns backup quarterback, DTR, as we like to call him. I just got a message from John. He will not be in tonight, but I just got a message from John. He says, "Go Bills, fuck Miami and the media." That's all.
I think Miami's going to get their moxie back next week when they play the Giants.
Hey, what? That Bills defense was just all over those guys today.
Oh, yeah. You know what? The Bills are carrying a chip on their shoulder after losing to the Jets.
That's right.
They've destroyed everybody since they lost that game to the Jets.
Yes.
That's right. And no one carries a chip on their shoulders quite like the Bills do.
Correct.
And you could tell because, I mean, where was Raheem Mostert today? Where was Tyreek Hill today? Where were all these guys today? You know what I mean?
They were handcuffed.
The most menacing offense in football got their nuts cut off today.
He crash landed back to earth.
Tua was 25 of 35 for 282 with a touchdown and interception. Kane had more yards than
It's
Raheem Mostert
Achan.
today.
It's Achan.
Achan, excuse me.
That's his name. They used to pronounce it Achan. Everybody in the media and everything.
Yeah, but it's Achan.
But then Schefter got the lowdown that it's Achan.
He had actually 8 carries for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he kind of had a good game. Tyreek Hill had 3 catches for 58 yards. That's it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Far cry from what he's been doing to lesser defenses.
Correct.
True.
Correct. The only receiver to catch a touchdown today was Braxton Berrios. That's it.
And I'm serious. I'm serious. You know what? Honestly, the Miami Dolphins today, the way they were not tackling, looked like the Denver Broncos defense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old way defense.
I mean, did you see the touchdown by Stephon Diggs where 2 guys had him and he spun around and took off on him? That's exactly what Denver was doing last week.
Yes. I mean, I actually watched that happen live. I'm like, are you kidding me, Stephon Diggs? Are you really going to do that?
So you can have all the offense in the world, but if your defense sucks, it's going to catch up with you.
Yes. Dolphins are the first team I can ever remember that score 70 one week and give up 48 the next.
Mm-hmm.
118-point differential right there.
They gave up that 50-point deficit and it came back 48 points today.
Yep.
And it wasn't even a game either. I mean,
no.
It was
for the first half, but Buffalo's defense figured out the offense and then just shut them down most of the rest of the game. But tell you who's looking good, guys. C.J. Stroud is looking good.
Oh my goodness! You know what? I have him as my backup on my fantasy. I'm beginning to think I need to start that kid.
He is breaking the mold of the historic Ohio State quarterbacks. in the
Ohio
NFL.
State, yeah.
He's breaking
He's
that.
got the most. I think he's got the most pass yards in
He
the
does.
NFL right now.
He's in the top 10 of all quarterbacks in
He's
the
like
NFL right now.
over 1,200 yards or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. 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 And
And
like I
what
said
they
last
did to the
weekend,
Steelers today, oh my God, they just totally.
they tore him up, 30-6.
I'm sure that made you happy.
Kenny Pickett got hurt. He got a knee injury during that game.
Yeah,
I'm glad because even though the Browns lost, the Bengals and the Steelers both lost today too. The Ravens are alone in first place, but the Browns, they're not in last place because they get a game on the Bengals. But
And they went to Trubisky site today.
yes, it was a Trubisky setting there. Yes.
Well, I wonder what that means.
Mitchell Trubisky
Yeah. If he's in the game, then what does that mean?
playing Pittsburgh. He was playing for Pittsburgh because
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, he might be better than Kenny Pickett.
Yeah.
Well, he's got more experience, that's for sure. But
Ain't
Yeah,
saying much.
Yeah.
I think the Bengals are 1-3.
They don't look good at all.
They do not look good at all.
Because they.
And T. Higgins got
They do not
fractured.
look
As
like a
bad
Super
as,
Bowl
as bad
contender.
as Tennessee looked this last week against the Browns, they looked like a totally different team today against the Bengals.
Well, Tennessee, they got a pretty decent defense, except in the past. But I'm telling you right now, it's a combination of the fact that Cincinnati's just not Cincinnati right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They do not look like the Bengals of the last few years.
And I'm sorry, but I don't think they're going to be making any deep advances into the playoffs this year.
Not unless they turn it around pretty quickly.
I think teams might have figured them out too.
That's possible.
You know,
They
after a
still
while,
they still haven't made any strides in improving that offensive line.
I mean,
I think today officially Buffalo became the favorite in the AFC.
I would hope so. That's
Even
why
more
I got
than
to win the
Kansas
Super
City.
Bowl.
And I'm sorry, but the Philadelphia Eagles do not look like a 4-0 team.
Nope, they don't.
I mean,
Not today. They
the
don't.
Commanders were pretty much handling them most of the game.
Who?
Washington.
The Commanders were handling. Washington was
Yeah.
handling the Eagles most of the game.
I'm just saying, if the Eagles bring that when the 49ers come a calling, the 49ers are going to run the house on them. They're going to run the table on them.
Well, CMC had 4 touchdowns today for the Niners.
McCaffrey,
Yeah.
he didn't get his 5th, which would have tied the record for the 49ers, but
Right.
yeah, he managed to get 48.2 fantasy points, I think it was.
I was about to ask you.
Throw in the damn towel already.
Almost 50 points. And even Derrick Henry looked like the old Derrick Henry
Yes, he
today
did.
at Cincinnati.
Mm,
Throwing
Yes, he
touchdown passes and oh man.
dragging defenders with him.
Yeah, Cincinnati fans are definitely feeling the pain right now.
Oh well.
They keep this up, they're gonna secure last place in that division behind Pittsburgh.
And Joe Burrow will be laughing all the way to the bank.
Oh, he already is.
He already is.
He might not be laughing a lot because he's hurt, but he's
Yeah.
he's good with his bank.
Notable injuries. Left the game with a knee injury. T. Higgins had a
Fractured
rib.
rib. Fractured ribs.
Yeah.
Mm.
And
So he's gonna be out for a while.
yeah,
There is nothing you can do about fractured ribs.
Oh no,
can't
no, no,
breathe when you got fractured. ribs.
Cannot breathe.
No.
Ain't nothing to do but take
I
them
wouldn't,
up.
I wouldn't be surprised if they put him on the IR for 4 weeks or whatever.
There's really nothing you can do except to let them heal. You can't put a cast on a broken rib.
Shit.
Nope.
Breathing even fucking hurts.
Yeah.
That's right. I haven't had a broken rib, but I've had ribs that were stretched, and
Yeah.
that hurts like hell too.
Yeah, I have T. Higgins on my fantasy team, and it's time to put him on the IR.
Yeah. Yep.
If not, drop him out right because he hasn't really been doing shit this season anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
So they had a game in London today. Jacksonville beat Atlanta. Atlanta looked like shit. Elliott was here for most of that game.
That was a
Watching
snooze fest.
it with me, and Atlanta just looked like they couldn't get anything going.
And I got 5 syllables I want to share.
What's that?
Puka-Nakua.
Buka Nakua, yes.
Puka Nakua. Get this.
Breaks the record for the most touchdowns by a player in his first 4 games, as well
No,
as
that was his first touchdown. Broke the record for the most receptions.
most receptions.
39 receptions, and
Yeah.
he broke it convincingly by
Yeah.
9 receptions.
Yeah,
So he's averaging almost 10 receptions a game.
he's also
Put
leading.
up
He also had the
31
most yards too.
Tell you what, Calvin Ridley looked pretty good today against his old squad.
Yep.
Well, do you think that might have had something to do with it?
It might. It might have had a little bit to do with it.
It
Yeah.
might have had some incentive to look good against the Falcons.
I didn't realize he was wearing number 0.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get this. I heard this today. Okay. Jacksonville's playing in London today. They got the Bills in London next week too.
Yep.
But they can't stay in their hotel because the Bills are coming in to take the place.
That's because Jacksonville is going to be their visiting team and the Bills are going to be the home team.
Oh, okay.
That's
I
probably
didn't
why
know
they're going to do
that.
that. But they are staying in London. They're just going to move. They're going to move hotel.
Yeah.
Why don't they just move them to London?
If you're one of the few Jacksonville Jaguars season ticket holders, though, doesn't that kind of piss you off?
You get missing one home game a year?
Missing 2 or 3, yeah.
No, they're just missing one.
Oh,
home
that's
game.
right. That's right. You said they were.
Oh, no, they're going to play again overseas.
Yeah, but they'll be the
Yeah.
visitors. They won't be a home. It won't be
Right.
a home game.
But I'm just saying, they won't be playing in Jacksonville. That's
Right.
The Jacksonville fans are the ones that are losing out.
Yeah. Instead of 8 or 9 home games, you're only getting 1 less.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The Bucks are 3-1, guys. Baker Mayfield.
Man, I can't believe it. I mean,
I can't believe they worked over New Orleans.
last week, but it looked pretty good this week.
Bucks
They
are leading
handled
the
that
division.
New Orleans team.
I mean, they historically go into New Orleans and lose. That's
Yeah.
historic for them.
Right.
Not today, man.
Not today.
I'm sorry. I'm just thinking that.
It was a home invasion of the
I'm
Superdome.
just thinking that Derek Carr is not it, dude. He's not the answer for New Orleans.
You think Jameis Winston is?
Well, I mean, look, Derek Carr wasn't the answer in Oakland.
Oakland,
It
Las
wasn't the
Vegas.
He wasn't the answer in Las Vegas. And what's going to make him the answer in New Orleans? Not a
I
damn thing,
Don't know.
you know. So, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is.
They've already shown Taylor Swift.
Good.
Oh, you there? She at the
Yep.
game?
She's there. Yep.
Man. The Swifties are in full effect now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm still going.
This game is going to be as ugly as that Dallas New England game today. It's going to be. It was.
Oh, that wasn't
It's
even.
going to be as ugly as the Chiefs want it to be.
That
Yep.
was a scrimmage. That wasn't even a game. dude.
Yeah. Congratulations to the Cowboys, Kenny. They played really well today.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
As did the Niners, and
Okay.
were just 35-16. Yeah, Elliot, that was just a friggin' rout.
I'd like to say something about the Cowboys Patriots game.
Sure, go ahead, Kenny.
Back in 2007, the only time I ever got to see the Cowboys play at Texas Stadium, Rod and Glenda and I and Steven and his wife at that time all went to the game at Texas Stadium. This was back when the
The old
Patriots.
Texas Stadium.
Texas Stadium, the old
The old-
stadium.
The old stadium, right?
And this is a game where both teams were undefeated. I think both were 5-0 or 6-0, something like that. And the Patriots ended up working over the Cowboys 48-27 that day.
Hmm.
And it took 16 years, but paybacks are a bitch.
But you got to remember that was the Tom Brady days.
That was a
Those are
time.
Tom Brady days, yeah.
Okay, post Tom Brady, New England is really nothing.
Well, it was 28-3 at halftime, and I'm thinking, all right, you can knock off that because we aren't the Falcons, and Tom Brady ain't coming down that ramp. So
Who did you have back then? Wasn't it Romo? Wasn't Romo the quarterback back then?
In 2007, yeah, it was Romo. It was one of his first years, first or second year, I think.
How about the Vikings winning their first game today?
Yeah, I mean,
Vikings won their first, and Broncos won their first.
Yep.
Well, that's because
all
they played
four
the Bears.
0-3 teams played each other today.
Yeah.
So two of those teams had to get at least one win.
Mm-hmm.
And there are no more undefeated teams in the AFC, right?
Do what?
There's no more undefeated teams in the AFC.
Right.
Oh.
The only undefeated teams are Philly and San Francisco.
Philly and San Francisco, yep.
Yeah,
They will meet. They will meet down the road.
Carolina was just a mess. Just a mess.
Well,
Is
I'm
that
sorry, but if you don't, they shouldn't let Andy Dalton quarterback and leave this kid on the bench for a season. Because you see what Andy Dalton did with them. I mean, they lost, but he made them competitive. This Bryce Young kid looks like a deer in headlights.
Right.
He ain't no C.J. Stroud, I'll tell you that.
No, he's not. C.J. Stroud turning out to be the better pick of all three of them.
Yeah, and he ain't playing against Vanderbilt in South Carolina anymore either.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
The Eagles squeaked out that win against the Commanders today.
Yep. And it took them overtime to do it. Same with the Rams. They went to overtime for Rams were up big on that game, and Indy came back
23-0. They were
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Indy came all the way back, and they lost it in overtime. Justin Herbert may have broken his left hand today.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I saw that. Did you see that splint he had on his hand?
Looked like an offensive lineman splint. That's how bad it was.
Yeah.
Ouch. That's gonna hurt them.
But he still came in and threw that clutch pass in the fourth quarter.
I mean, that third down pass he threw out of his own end zone was just.
Even though,
and I'll tell you what, that lead up to that, the interception that brought on that series, he could have ran that all the way back and it went over. But instead he slid down inside the 20-yard line.
But let's not overlook the fact that Josh Palmer actually committed offensive interference on that play. Offensive pass interference. And they called an offensive pass interference on Jacoby Myers early in the game.
Yeah.
But all of it, they didn't call that one. But to me, that was kind of suspect. But, it is what it is. Home cooking.
Home cooking. Hey, Grandpa, what's for supper?
God, that's old hee-haw bit. That's an old hee-haw bit.
Yep.
So we haven't even touched on what the Lions did to the Packers Thursday night.
You mean the dismantling that Lions went into Lambeau and just treated the Packers like their little bitch?
Yeah, they even did Lambeau leaps.
They shredded some cheese.
And the fact that the stadium was half full of Lions fans instead of Packer fans?
Uh-huh. It almost looked like when the 49ers go to SoFi.
Right. Right. I mean, Campbell's got those guys working on all cylinders, and they're looking pretty good. So,
well, here's the thing. Some people they're like, oh well, because of the beer that they poured on Amon-Ra St. Brown's head.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are like, oh well, real Packer fans enjoyed it because you're not supposed to be doing Lambeau leaps. Then sell tickets to your own fans in the Lambeau leap area.
correct.
Okay, keep the visiting fans out of there.
Right.
That's just it. The tickets there, are hard to come by since they're done in advance for years.
Yeah, I thought they had a waiting list for season tickets there.
Usually they do.
So how the hell do they? How the hell
I
do
don't
they
know.
get all that
Packers
fans?
fans selling their tickets to Lions fans.
Yeah, evidently.
Basically. Well, what does that tell you? These are the same Packers fans that cheered when Rodgers tore his Achilles.
Yeah, that's true.
They're scumbags. Plain and simple.
It's their party of 60,000.
AJ Brown had a good game today against those Commanders.
Yeah, we got that stupid unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that moved the ball back 15 yards.
Right.
Yeah,
It gave Washington excellent field position.
was kind of mild, wasn't it?
I didn't see what he did, but I heard it was. I heard the official call it, sportsmanlike conduct. And
Did you hear why he wears those bright color shoes?
Yeah, so his daughter can see him.
So his daughter could see who. So his daughter could pick him out. That was cool. But yeah, Jordan loved it, and then why is AJ Dillon still running back for the Packers? That guy's terrible.
I don't know.
He's just awful.
Well, they lost somebody a week or two.
Aaron Brown, or is it Aaron Brown or Aaron Green?
Aaron
Jones.
Aaron Jones. He
came back, but they had him on a pitch count.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, he's nursing a hamstring, so that's why.
Right.
That's all right. He'll be back to full strength next week.
Yeah.
I gotta have him because he's on my fantasy team. He only scored 2.4,
Right.
so that really messed me up. Well, I mean, I'm gonna win this week, but it's a little more closer than I would have liked it to be.
Even with CMC?
Huh?
Even with CMC?
I don't have CMC.
Well, I thought you did.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I got him on my team, my real team.
Oh, well, I mean your fantasy team.
No, I don't have him on. I didn't have the first pick in the draft this year. That's where he went.
Okay, guys, I need some help with this NFL predictor.
It was Jamal. It was Jamal that picked him up.
NFL predictor.
What's the NFL predictor? What is it?
This is a thing on NBC Sports.
Oh, All Night in America?
Yeah, well, it's all kinds of sports, but this is tonight's game. How many yards will Mahomes have tonight? I think he'll have it. How many? 330 to 349, don't you think?
Yeah.
Against the Jets?
Yeah.
Okay. Passing yards for Zach Wilson.
He's averaging 300 with passing and running combined.
Right.
So.
Passing yards for Zach.
You know what? That Jets defense ain't no joke, though, guys. To be honest, the Jets defense is not bad.
It ain't.
Okay. I don't know that. I'd bring that down. What's the next range after before that?
Before that, let me go back just a second.
Look, the Jets defense is as good as their offense is pathetic.
320 to 329. Or 290 to 319.
I'd do 290 to 319. That's where I'd go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'd go to 2. Yeah, because I mean,
Okay.
he hasn't hit any of his. He hasn't really hit any of his fantasy projections this year either because he's had low pass yardage. He's doing more running too.
Right. You guys see that hit Tillery put on?
Oh yeah, he got thrown out the game.
When he got thrown out the game.
That was unnecessary.
You know what? He's lucky because that whole friggin' bench was coming after his ass.
You saw he was surrounded by nothing but blue.
Nothing but blue. It was like, oh God, what did I do? And rightfully so, he got thrown out because that was a cheap shot.
Yeah.
He was already out of
That was an
bounds.
egregious hit, man.
Yeah.
That was just like totally blatant. It was bordering on felonious. But, hey, the Chargers still made a game of it with the Raiders.
Yeah, but you know what? Khalil Mack had 6 sacks today.
Yeah.
How many did
He always loves this game when he's playing the Raiders. Always.
Only the 5th guy ever to do that.
Yep. Yeah, you guys remember who holds the record for the most sacks in one game?
Derek Thomas,
7.
7.
7 against the Seahawks. And Dave Craig. I remember that game, man. I remember that game.
Yep, I remember that game.
Dude was going off.
How many sacks did Miles have today?
I think Miles had 1 or 2. I'm not sure, but he's got foot injuries.
Uh-oh.
And he got caught on some penalties too. A couple penalties in the game.
Miles.
Let
me see here. Hang on a second. Let me find where there it is. Miles. Yeah, Miles had a sack. I mean, we sacked those guys. We sacked them 3 times today. But for some reason, they just all of a sudden picked up and started moving against this defense, which surprised the hell out of me. Because I'll tell you what, Jackson only threw for 186, but he had 2 touchdowns. One of those touchdowns was due to, I believe, it was due to a turnover in the red zone. Dorian Thompson-Robinson was just way out of his league today. Way out of his league.
Oh, he was out of preseason, is what it was.
Yeah, and also I have to say that Stefanski's play calling is very suspect at this point. I am not a big believer in his play calling. He's trying to get too cute.
Well,
Remember my comment again about Ohio State beating too cute last weekend, Kenny, against Notre Dame?
Yes.
Stefanski is doing the same thing. He's putting these, they're not running the ball. I mean, we had
they're not running
we had 93 total yards rushing,
minus
20 by Elijah Moore when he ran the wrong way.
Even a short yardage?
I think Pierre Strong Jr. led them in rushing today.
He did, 49 yards.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he's their third string.
Correct.
Jim Brown used to have that in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Ford didn't get that.
Kareem Hunt only had 12 yards rushing
12
today.
yards. Yep. I mean, why are you not running when you got a inexperienced quarterback in the game?
And the proof positive is here. The kid Dorian Thompson had 3 picks today because Stefanski kept putting him in empty backfield. What are you doing? Screens, short passes, get him in rhythm, get the running game going. You got a rookie who's never seen a defense like the Ravens in his life.
Nope.
And you're going to put him in an empty backfield? Are you kidding me?
Nope, there's Taylor.
Yeah, I saw her.
In the box.
In the box. Over under on how many times NBC shows Taylor tonight?
At least 46. Oh, wait, 87 times.
Right. But the Ravens figured out the Browns defense today. I mean, we did, like I said, we did get to Lamar 3 times, but you would expect that from the number one defense. The Ravens had 4 sacks, so
Cleveland went and ranked the number 1 defense in the NFL today.
They did. They won't be the number 1 after today, but they did.
That's because they had no offense.
They got a bye week coming up, and then they play the San Francisco 49ers, Elliot, in 2 weeks. It's going to be, I think it's in Cleveland, in fact, too, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, it is in Cleveland. I'm not worried about that game right now. I'm concentrating on next week.
Yeah.
When the Cowboys.
Is it Philly? Was it Cowboys?
Yep.
Ooh.
So in the next 2 weeks, you play Kenny and me in the 2 weeks span.
Yep.
Wow. Next 2 weeks.
The Cowboys get to visit that indentation in the field that Ezekiel Elliott left on the last play. They get to see the burial spot.
That was embarrassing. Zeke didn't have much to say today.
No, he didn't have much say in it either, I don't think.
Not today.
No, he didn't do anything today. But then again, neither did New England. They scored 3 freaking points.
3 points. When's the last time that happened?
In the Tom Brady era?
Not even in the post-Brady era.
Yeah, post-Brady era. Did you see the run that McCaffrey did when he leaped over the defense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hurdler.
Yes. And DeMar Hamlin was on the field today, guys, too. Another note. DeMar Hamlin was on the field today, by the way. He played.
He came out.
There's another.
I gave him a standing ovation as he came out.
An emotional uplift for that
Yes.
Buffalo. But wait a minute. Buffalo lost Tre'Davious White today.
Yes, they did.
Uh-oh.
Yep, he was holding that knee pretty. That touchdown by Diggs was just insane. My God.
Oh, the one where
2
they
guys all over him, could not bring him down. He just kept twisting and gone.
Well, that's just bad tackling, man. Come on.
Yeah, that is too. That's true. Yeah.
They went to the Denver Broncos School of Tackling. Did you see that one image that they put out where when Achane was running his touchdown, there were 7 Broncos on the ground, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trip him as he comes by.
That was last week. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, Dallas got the benefit of the defense turning the ball over on New England again.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They do well when they can turn the other team over.
Yep.
So
agreed.
it was wasn't it a scary moment for you when Micah Parsons went off limping?
Yeah, it was very concerning, but he came right back out there.
Yeah,
Came back
same
out.
with Myles Garrett. He went out, and I was worried, but he came back in the game.
Because
He left the game with a walking boot, but he said he'll be back.
that would have hurt. That would have hurt immensely, losing Diggs and Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It
there's
will
That
hurt.
could have been a season killer, Kenny.
Do what?
That could have been a season killer.
It could have been.
It could have been, yeah.
And
Because I think what's going to drive the Cowboys this year mostly is going to be that defense.
the thing is, they're picking it up. The depth is picking it up because Van Der Esch had that scoop and score. They had another player that picked one off and took it to his house.
Yeah,
I
Bland.
mean, they're playing good on defense right now.
Bland had 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
48-20. Wow.
And even when he came back, Parsons was still chasing the hell out of Jones
Well,
and
Miami gave Buffalo a better game last year in the cold weather up in
Yes, they
Buffalo.
did.
you know.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
But I think the
They
key
won.
was that they shut down Mostert because last year Mostert ran on them,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and they pretty much shut down Tyreek Hill.
Right.
They weren't let that little cheater running around, little wannabe porn star running around doing his thing. Oh, there you go, deflected pass. Tua was under pressure too a lot.
Yep.
And then turnovers. There you go. They just showed a Mostert fumble there. I mean, I think the only guy that really played well for them was Achane. He scored.
Yeah, Achane was pretty much the highlight for Miami today.
He was it.
I mean, because like I said,
He had 2 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, I think he had 2 touchdowns. He had,
Without
he had
that,
100
they
yards
have 6
rushing.
points. Without that, they have 6 points. Without that, they finish with 6 points.
Correct. Yes.
So kudos to that Buffalo defense for stepping up.
Absolutely.
And thank God that the Miami Dolphins were exposed as the bad defense.
And you know what? What's funny is after the game, a lot of the players are saying, "Well, we needed this to keep us humble." Well, you know what? Buffalo's got you figured out. I'm afraid to tell you.
Yeah.
Who the hell? That's kind of like when Micah Parsons said last week that they played down to the level of Arizona. That's just not the right thing.
Arizona ran right over the Cowboys last week.
Arizona
had a great game last week. Against
Arizona always gives us fits. I mean, it's
Well,
no
Arizona,
two ways about it.
Arizona's been playing tough all year long.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, yeah,
I
and
mean,
for a while today, they were in that game with San
It was
Francisco.
21.
Right. They got within 5.
It was 21-16 before the Niners said enough of this nonsense.
Right.
You know. And they were in the game with the Giants. They had a 20-0 halftime lead.
Right.
Yeah.
And they should have beat the Commanders.
They should have beat the Commanders, yes.
So again, they could be. Who says that tanking is way off?
No,
Whoever
they're
says
not
that they're
Yeah,
tanking.
tanking-
They are
that's what I
not
said last
tanking.
week. I said, sorry, folks, but the Cards are not tanking. I'm saying
No.
the same thing about the Texans. They're not. I mean, come on, the Texans.
I think the
are
Bears
playing
are
well.
tanking. They're not going to bring back Justin Fields next year.
Yeah, the
That's
Bears
why-
are tanking. Yeah, the Bears were up 28-7 and lost that game.
Late in the third quarter,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
they lost.
because of turnovers, pick sixes or whatever it was.
Well, that fumble by Fields that
Yeah.
they took back to the house to
Yep.
tie the game.
Yep.
And then, but wait a second. The biggest fuck up, I can't think of any other word right now, okay, was Eberflus calling that 4th down instead of kicking a field goal.
Yeah. Well, and the what's his face from San Diego did the same thing when they were deep in their own territory in the fourth quarter today, and they couldn't get 1 yard. So if it wasn't for that pick, the Raiders could have gone and tied the game. They could have, but he got bailed out by his defense with the interception. You know, I mean, I swear to God, every week that guy from the Chargers does something to go make us scratch your head and go, "What the fuck are you thinking?" You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Staley?
Yes.
Yeah, he's awful, dude.
Yeah.
He's awful. If anybody's holding the Chargers back, it's him.
I agree.
Because he just plays way too much of a gambler role. And what he did today, going for it on 4th and 1 in their own territory,
Yep.
that basically put the Raiders back in the game.
That could be Kellen Moore too.
No, he's the head coach.
Yeah.
I know, but Kellen Moore's his offensive coordinator.
I understand, but the
head coach decides whether or not we're going for it on 4th down or not. The head coach makes that decision.
Kellen Moore calls the play.
Right, but the head coach makes the decision. Right, the head coach makes the decision. We're going to go.
Okay.
Don't forget, coordinators are just assistant coaches.
Right.
That's what they are. In the end, it all falls on Staley. You don't go in that situation. You kick the ball away, make the Raiders come down the field,
right,
and score.
You make the Raiders come back, come the length of the field as opposed to give them the short field to possibly tie the game.
Especially when O'Donnell was starting to get a little bit heated,
Well, not only that, but you got a quarterback with a broken hand.
Yeah, that too.
And you call him quarterback sneak? Give me a break.
And not much of a good one either. They got stuck.
Well, it was actually a tush pusher. It didn't work.
No.
It's amazing how other teams can't do that very well, whereas the Eagles are experts at it.
But you gotta understand that a lot of that has to do with what's his name?
Kelsey.
Jason Kelsey.
Jason Kelsey. That's
because he goes down
the best center in the NFL right now.
He goes down low better than anybody.
Well, he's probably the best center in the NFL, and he's 35 years old.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And on top of that, you got Jalen Hurts, who's athletic.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, Justin Herbert's just not as athletic as
Herbert is not succeeding. Is doing well despite his head coach. What the fact is, San Diego. The Los Angeles Chargers are you know what? I mean,
they lost to 27
record? Are they 2-2 now?
2-2, yeah.
I mean, and they could have easily be 4-0 right now, easily.
Or they could be 0-4.
Yeah.
Got to.
Because Minnesota screwed up the game last week against them. Okay.
All 4 of their games have been decided by less than 10 points.
And I don't care they're probably still feeling that hangover of that 27-point lead they blew against Jacksonville in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, and you know what?
Yes.
Staley says that's not the case, but I don't know. It's got
bullshit.
It's got to hit you mentally. You know what I'm saying?
Bullshit. Staley says a lot of things.
Right.
And he's one of the crappiest coaches in the fucking NFL right now.
Yep.
Like you said, they could very well be 4-0. But, I don't know what they see in Staley, why they're keeping him. He must have some goods on the ownership or something. Some video or something. You know what I'm saying? Because that dude should have been gone. Dude, he should have been gone when he cost them a playoff shot in that last game of the season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Puka, you go, boy.
Let's take a side note here. Today was the last day of the Major League Baseball season. A couple shout outs, first of all, to Miguel Cabrera for a fantastic career. He played his last game for the Tigers today. We love some Miggy. He's a great personality for Major League Baseball. Love to watch that guy play.
Yep.
And he got pulled out of the game today by his family. After the 8th inning, he got pulled from the game. His 2 girls and son were on the field, and they pulled him out of the game. Also, shout out to the Fighting Franconans, as Katie likes to say, Ken. Terry Francona ends his career today after 11 years with the Indians / Guardians. 911 wins while I was in Cleveland. He's got, 1,200, 1,300 wins, I guess. I don't know, but 23 years as manager between Boston and Cleveland.
He is on his way to Cooperstown.
He is one of the most beloved managers in baseball. And yes, they need to reserve his spot in Cooperstown because he's going to be there. I'm just saying.
The tribute that Major MLB Network did to him made me cry because that was.
Well, you know what? And Francona brought you your first World Series title since 1980.
That's right. Then the second one.
And the second one.
And the second one,
And
yeah.
I would like to make an urgent plea to Hal Steinbrenner to get rid of Brian Cashman. Thank you very
He's
much.
been saying that. He's been saying that for the last 2 years, Ken.
Oh no! I've been saying Boone. Now I'm throwing Cashman in the mix. As well.
You're throwing Cashman in the basket too.
I mean,
Okay.
come on, man. Think about some of the people he's picked up. Frankie Montas. That guy hasn't pitched but one game for us, I think, since they got him from Oakland. Carlos Rodon. This guy couldn't get a Kansas City Royal out in the first inning Friday night. 8 batters up, 8 batters got on base. Yankees were down 9-0 after the first
Oh,
inning.
wait a minute. Let's preface that a second. That's a 105 loss Kansas City Royals team.
Yeah.
The only solace that I could get out of everything was that the Yankees didn't finish at or below 500,
Mm-hmm.
and that they finished ahead of the Red Sox.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
That's my consolation.
Yep.
So
Speaking
I
of the Red,
demand, I'm not even pleading anymore. I demand, as many Yankee fans probably do, that Hal Steinbrenner pull his head out of his ass and start thinking like his dad and get rid of these freaking lackeys and bring somebody else in that can do the job. Thank you very
Well,
much.
I have something else to say about Aaron Boone, and that has to do with
the home run he hit against you guys to beat the Red Sox
Yes.
in the ALCS.
Oh,
well,
by the way,
that came against Tim
Tim
Wakefield,
Wakefield, and he passed away.
and
Yeah, Wakefield passed away today.
I want to say that we have never blamed Tim Wakefield for that because he should never been in there.
But do you blame Bill Buckner for 86?
Yes,
No.
absolutely.
I blame the manager for that because Buckner should have never been in there in that long
He
late
should have had
in that
Hoffman.
game. Should have been it should have been Don Baylor, and Baylor would have fielded it, and we'd have had our
Actually,
championship
I think they
then.
had Hoffman back then, right?
They did.
Yeah, they should have had
And,
Hoffman.
anybody could have done that except for Buckner, and Buckner was just caught in a bad situation. But getting back to Wakefield,
Yeah, that was pretty sad.
I've seen quite a few knuckleballers in my lifetime.
Necro Brothers.
Necros, Tom Candiotti, Charlie Huff. I've never seen one quite like Tim Wakefield. Wakefield, I believe, was probably the best. And the way he could control that ball and literally bring it to where it's not even spinning was absolutely
But it
incredible.
was doing this as it was
You know,
coming at
doing
you.
that, yes.
Doing this as it was coming at you.
Not saying it wasn't moving,
Right.
but it
It wasn't
wasn't
rotating. It wasn't rotating.
Right.
No,
And
you can see the seams.
you
coming
can
at
see the seams. I mean, there is a still picture of him
you.
somewhere.
Was it Bert Hooten one too that threw the knuckle?
Yeah, I believe Hooten did later in his career.
Yeah.
And actually, I think my brother, I actually had a chance to interview Wakefield at one time. And when I gave him the news today, I mean, he had a stunned look on his face that we're just totally in shock.
The cause of death was brain cancer.
Brain cancer.
Tim Wakefield grew up around in the same town that I grew up in, Melbourne, Florida. Played for Palm Bay High School, and he was a nasty pitcher then. He was just a top-notch pitcher in high school.
And Aaron Boone should be thanking him too because he would have never got the Yankee job if he didn't hit that home run off Wakefield.
Correct.
That's the only reason he got the Yankees manager's job.
And Tim Wakefield was actually my age. He was 57.
57, yeah.
Too
But he
fucking
had brain
young.
cancer.
Yes, brain cancer.
That's the
Yes,
whole
his
different.
wife suffered from pancreatic cancer.
There's a bit of controversy earlier this week because dumbass with the bleeding sock, what's his face, Ken?
Oh,
Kurt Schilling.
Kirk Schilling let it be known that he had cancer
the shit.
without permission from Wakefield or anybody else
Yeah.
in the Wakefield family.
Not have their
Just
consent.
Put it out there for the
Well, that's
World War to
Schilling.
hear.
We have known for years that Kurt Schilling was a schmuck, and he keeps
He's a
proving it.
schmuck. He's a classless buffoon.
Yes.
Whereas
Totally.
Tim Wakefield was one of the most beloved players. He was a nice guy off the field, great guy off the field,
Yes.
great teammate. Everybody loved Timmy. I was a fan of Tim Wakefield too. I mean, even though because I was just in awe of how he could throw that knuckleball, and just
I love,
just
Not just
amazing.
throw it, but
I love
throw it
Tim
with
Wakefield when he was with the Pirates.
Throw it with
control.
control. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
And
like I said, he's up there with the Negros of the world. I mean, that's how
Mhm.
good he was.
He made the catcher's job easy too, because a lot of knuckleballers, catchers had fits trying
Mhm.
to catch their knuckleball.
Well, yeah, and like Ken told me earlier, that who was it? Ken, you said
Bob Uecker.
Bob
Bob
Uecker
Uecker says the only way to catch a knuckleball.
Stop rolling. So I mean, so
I mean,
like,
knuckleball catchers have to have an oversized, mitt to even have a
but
chance.
you
At
don't
it.
know where that ball's going to be. You
Yeah.
don't know.
Exactly.
Hot, dude.
It's like
Carrie
what was it? What was it that Kevin Costner said in Bull Durham? I have no idea where this pitch is going. So,
Forget about Taylor Swift. Carrie Underwood, baby.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah, Carrie Underwood. I prefer Carrie Underwood.
Let's have a quick shout out to Team Europe for kicking our ass left sideways in the Ryder Cup this
Ryder Cup.
weekend.
Yeah,
That was over with on
that
Friday.
was over with on Friday, Ken. Come
Yeah.
on.
And thank you, Jesus, that finally Damian Lillard has left the Portland Trailblazers.
It's one of the Portland Trailblazers.
The Bucks, no less. That's
That
going to be
whole
that's
style
gonna
of
be
game.
We got Giannis and Lillard on the same team. That
that's
makes
going to be
them.
That's going to be amazing to watch.
Does that make them the East favorite?
Yeah.
No, I
Has
don't know
to.
about his favorite. I think Boston still has
Well,
that.
Boston
Well,
got
Boston got what
Drew
the
Holiday
Sixers
Got
today.
Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
They gave up Bogdan
Mhm.
and some picks, I guess, for him.
Yep.
I think Boston is the favorite because Boston should have beat
Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a lot of teams should have beat Miami.
Right.
Denver finally did because
Denver
they finally showed what a better team should do against a team like
I
Miami.
was actually hoping for a Denver-Milwaukee NBA Finals last year, and we
Might
may
get
get
it
one
now.
this time.
You might get it now
Yeah.
because I don't see Denver going away.
No, not anytime soon.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers in the house tonight too, guys. In New York, he's
Is
there.
he there?
Boy.
Yeah, he's got his crutches and he's there. Yeah,
That's what what's his name was saying. Greenberg.
yeah.
He was saying, wouldn't it be something if Aaron Rodgers showed up? That would definitely take some of the flair away from Taylor Swift.
Not much. Not much.
No.
No, not much. Sorry, guys. As long as the Jets are playing bad, it means Greeny's is having a miserable season.
Oh,
And
there
I'm always glad when Greeny's having a miserable year. I'm always glad.
There he is. Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
Hey, Raj.
Maybe he'll hit Zach Wilson over the head with his crutches and they can bring in Simeon or something.
They signed Trevor Simeon.
Trevor Simeon.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Peyton Manning's successor in Denver.
Yeah, but the one thing is Simeon's going to always remember for is the reaction on the sidelines when Peyton's going back in the game when Simeon thought he was going in the game. I don't know if you guys remember that. Remember that? Remember that? I caught his reaction on the sidelines when that was going on.
Oh, my bad.
Like, oh, what's going on?
Trevor Simeon. Of all people they could have signed, dude.
Has there ever been a quarterback in the NFL that had much success by the name of Trevor?
No.
I don't think so.
No, 'cause Trevor Lawrence, he looks like a
Trevor Lawrence is having one, man.
Well, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, you're right. There you go.
Trevor Lawrence better than Trevor Simeon.
Again, it's another case of the film catching up with him. You know how many teams probably studied film on Trevor Lawrence after last year?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
They might have figured his ass out.
Better have. Apparently Atlanta didn't.
Well, that's because Atlanta's terrible. First of all, Desmond Ritter, he might even be worse than Justin Fields.
God awful today. He was just no, my God.
I think he might even be worse than Justin Fields. I mean, he might even be worse than Zach Wilson.
Mm.
At least in the
Yes.
same league.
It's
Who
just-
was the Atlanta broadsided a week or two ago?
They won their first
Atlanta
two
got their
games.
two
Yeah.
victories at home, and they weren't really convincing from from any standpoint. Watch out for look, Tampa right now seems to be the one that wants to take over that NFC South, or keep it, should I say?
With Baker Mayfield, no less.
With Baker Mayfield. But I think Baker's just happy playing in that system.
I think he is too.
Yeah.
Don't forget he played for Stefanski, right?
Yeah.
And you don't like the way Stefanski runs the offense, right?
Right. I do
Maybe
not.
that's
like
why
the way
Baker. Maybe that's why Baker couldn't succeed in Cleveland.
Well, Stefanski's play calling has been suspect pretty much all season long.
Because if
his
you
best
notice,
play calling was his best play calling was last week.
Baker played good with the Rams last year.
Against Tennessee.
Baker played good while he was with the Rams last year too.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he did. Yeah, it's
You know?
amazing what will happen when you're in a good system. What a mediocre quarterback, what you think is a mediocre quarterback.
And with a coach that can call plays.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's what it all comes down to. It's like, look, Josh McDaniel is a great offensive coordinator, but
He's not a great head coach.
He's not a fucking head coach.
No.
Okay. And I don't know how people didn't figure that out when he coached Denver.
I don't know.
I mean, he's as good a coach as Matt.
Atlanta. The game you're talking about with Atlanta was they went up and they beat Green Bay.
Yeah.
They beat Green Bay week 2.
Yeah, at home.
Yeah, at home. Yeah, they won their first 2 games. They're both at home.
And that's because Jordan Love committed some mistakes too.
Yes.
Because I'll tell you what, Detroit exposed Jordan Love.
Oh yeah, big time.
Okay, everybody was, Jordan
Big
Love,
time.
he's doing so good. He's gonna. Detroit exposed him, dude.
Oh, there he is.
There she is.
I'm already past that. I'm seeing Aaron
You
Rodgers.
guys are ahead of me.
Yeah.
I'm a little behind.
Um,
Yeah, I am. Why not?
Detroit's defense is for real. They
They are. They're good.
They put the win on.
The way Montgomery's playing, I mean,
He ran through them like we weren't even there.
he had 32 carries on Thursday night. It's crazy.
Aiden Hutchinson had a good game.
That guy's a beast.
He is a beast. I tried to tell you.
Aiden Hutchinson
Michigan.
is a freaking beast.
He is in beast mode.
Crazy. You know who's been really, I mean, I love the 49ers. They're doing great so far this year, but you know who's really been non-existent is freaking Nick Bosa.
Yeah, I noticed that. I was wondering about it. You don't hear his name that a lot this year. I've never heard his name.
Oh, he didn't do anything. He didn't even have a tackle today.
Could be that the offensive line
Saving it for next week.
try to keep
He's
it
got
check.
12. He's got in an IDP. He has 12 fantasy points in 4 games.
He's saving it for next week.
That's freaking awful, dude. I don't know, man. Again, I got to think is once those guys get their contracts, they're not as hungry as they used to be. There's a difference between playing for the money and then trying to keep the money.
Right.
Psychologically, I'm a firm believer of that.
And we have kickoff in New Jersey.
Yeah.
New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah.
I'm sure Laurie Sloan is glued to the TV.
I mean, Jordan Love was 23 of 36 for 246. He had 1 touchdown. He had 2 interceptions and was sacked 5 times against the Lions. Quarterback rating of 69.9.
Aiden Hutchinson had 2 of those sacks, I think.
He had a sack and a half, actually, Ken, with a
Second half.
Yeah. Aaron Jones had 5 carries for 18 yards. A.J. Dillon, 5 carries for 11 yards.
Yeah. They weren't running the ball. They couldn't run the ball.
Nope. They got 27 total yards running the ball.
They had Aaron Jones on a pitch count.
Yep.
Which I wish I would have known that before I started his ass.
Yeah.
And then I think, lo and behold, Javonte Williams is injured again.
Yeah. And
Let's go back to that in a second.
David Montgomery was the bell cow for that game. Could you imagine how great the Lions would be if they start getting Jahmyr Gibbs going?
Yeah, well, as long as Montgomery is as hot as he is, Jahmyr Gibbs ain't going nowhere.
Well, you know what? Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be your wild card because the kid can do a lot.
He can.
He had
But again,
he had
as
8
long as-
carries for 40 yards, but he also had 4 catches out of the backfield for 11. So I mean, he's another CMC if you can get him going. He really is.
Well, that remains to be seen.
How many yards?
That's a tall ask for him to be.
I know, but he's that type of. I'm saying he's not as great, but he's that type of back where he's like a CMC type.
If he was that type of back, Montgomery wouldn't be chewing his touches. Okay, because CMC came out of college and what? He went straight to playing
Mhm.
at a high level.
Yeah.
If
He played
Jahmyr
high level in
was
college.
anything like CMC, that's where he'd be right now.
Well, he was great. He was great at
but-
Stanford.
Yeah,
How do you pay,
he ripped SC apart.
how do you pay Montgomery all those millions and sit him? That's the thing.
Yeah, it's true.
How many yards rushing did you say the Packers had?
How many yards rushing?
Yeah, with the team. 27.
Yeah.
I can hear a voice from the heavens going, "What the hell's going on out there?"
And another thing, Gibbs can't run between the tackles the way Montgomery does.
Agreed.
True.
That's another thing.
Yep. You have to agree.
So
Oh, Kelsey cut the ball. They're going to flash to Taylor. They're going to flash to Taylor. No. Okay, good.
Oh God.
you would think NBC'd be all over
It
that.
was a fucking beatdown. I'm so tired of him.
This is going to be an ugly, ugly game, guys, for the Jets. I'm sorry. It really is. I mean, they got
This game could be
got the
ugly.
ball. They're already at the 25-yard line, for God's sake.
Yeah, this game could get ugly really fast.
Yep.
Especially with Kansas City's defense. They've been playing really well. They were a question mark coming in. Remember the
Yeah.
defense?
Mm-hmm.
They've shown that they even played well against Detroit without Chris Jones.
Right.
You know, again, the what lost Kansas City that game against Detroit was Kadarius Toney.
Right.
He makes one of those catches, and it's a whole different story.
Has he been doing better since then?
No,
I didn't think so.
no,
I didn't think so.
he had less than one fantasy point this week or last week.
Oh, God. We really got Seattle and the Giants tomorrow night, guys? Jesus, God.
Oh,
Well, Jamal Adams is coming back tomorrow.
God.
that one might be worth watching. The
It
man
might be.
do it.
It might be. You know what? Seattle's got a pretty explosive offense too.
Well, Gino's playing good as usual.
Kenneth Walker is playing well. And their defense ain't so bad. It ain't Legion of Boom type stuff, but
Right.
I mean, they're playing representative, even though they beat Carolina. They couldn't stop Andy Dalton last week.
Hmm.
Yeah, we got Seattle and the Giants tomorrow.
It might be worth watching the Manning cast.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like watching Manny Cast. I don't like watching Aikman and.
I finally got my ESPN Plus back, so
Good.
Well, that would have served you well today to be able to watch the Jacksonville Atlanta game.
I did watch it.
I'm just saying that
Yeah.
served you well. I had to go
I
to
did.
Scott's house.
I didn't
You
realize
come to my place to watch the game. Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I didn't watch much of it. I was too busy.
You're too
catching
busy
up.
focusing on my head.
Yeah.
that my subscription had expired, and I didn't get a notice about it.
You didn't get a notification to renew it?
Evidently not, because I had it on a fixed automatic renewal. So, oh well, I'm back now.
All right, fellas. It was a great. It wasn't a really great week of football. There were too many blowouts, in my opinion. Of course, the Browns lost, so I'm having a bad day as it is.
Our teams won.
Kenny and Kenny Elliott and John all had a good day, and I didn't. The host did not, but that's okay. It's still
Well,
early. They're 2-2, and they got a bye week next week.
Y'all had
so,
good weeks last week, and I didn't. So
yeah.
it's a rotating basis.
Take your
And we got a
turn.
bye week next week, so it gives some chance for Deshaun to heal up and for Miles to heal up and for Kevin Stefanski to figure out how to call an offense. Anyway, we're gonna call it a night.
No, he needs a call playing for dummies. He needs to get on that book.
I was about to say offense.
There you go. Yes, exactly. So on that note, we're going to get out of here. It's 8:30. Join us every week. We are available also for rebroadcast on Spotify. If I can get the damn thing to save, because the last 2 weeks it hasn't saved for some reason. I'm also on YouTube.
I'll watch it.
On the blockchain, on Peak D, as well as you can watch the replay on our group, a Facebook group as well. So we'll be here next Sunday. And on behalf of my co-host, Mr. Elliot Big E Lava, Mr. Ken Coslow, and John Olson out there somewhere on the road, I guess is where he's at.
Trucking safe, John.
We are the Sports Nerds, and we will see you next Sunday. Elliot, play the outro.
Well, there you have it, Nerd Nation. Another Sunday episode of the Sports Nerd Show in the books, and we are still alive to tell about it. Now, on behalf of our host, Scott, the Sports Nerd, right? And his co-host, John Olsen, Ken Coslow, lovable members of the Rat Pack, and yes, me, Big E, the entire pack would once again like to thank you all for participating with us in the best 90 minutes of sports smack talk on the web today. So until next Sunday night, dear nation, we would like to leave you with a quick PSA. Please stay safe. Please practice social distancing, and for heaven's sake, please wear a damn mask. You all just got hit with a pack rant from the Rat Pack, and with that, fellas, we are out.